Hey guys, got one for you. Hope you enjoy it. Wanted to get one out since today was so hard to get anything going. Uh, I don't know what happened to the live tonight, but me and Kirk had such a hard time. It's like we were blocked or whatever. But I got one I'm going to put out in replace of that. They also put that live we done, guys. It's on. It's limited right now on ads, so they hit that video every which way. I don't know what caused that, but that's where we're at. Name is Eric Durant and Friends. Location is Massachusetts, Berkshires. Date is 8/21/1983. The moon on that day was a waxing gibbous. Got a bug trying to eat my eyeball. He ain't gonna give up either. The moon is a waxing gibbous. The suspect in the case is a Bigfoot. Outcome: Bigfoot encounter. The persistent local rumor says that Bigfoot lives, or at least vacations, in the Berkshires of western Massachusetts. It was nearing 10 o'clock p.m. on Sunday, August 21st, 1983, in a small town of Washington, Massachusetts. Four friends were enjoying a steak and chicken cookout near Camp Eagle, an abandoned Boy Scouts camp on the banks of the Felton Lake. It was a calm night. The camp had been abandoned since 1970. That's strange, isn't it? 1970 male Boy Scout camp. The Girl Scouts was 1977 in Oklahoma. So there weren't many people in the area. Suddenly, though, this is where it starts, I think, getting really good. Their peace was disturbed by a strange rustling in the distance. Unseasonal chills pricked their spines. Whatever it was sounded big. Praying whatever had made the noises would leave them alone, they returned to their attention on the campfire and got back to enjoying the night. Man, he will not quit. He's about to drive me crazy. When another 2 hours had passed, they could no longer ignore the rustling. Something big was out there, and the young friends wanted to know what it was. Eric Durant, 18, and Frederick Parody, 22, set out to investigate. Just 100 yards later, they saw it. It stood on two legs, silhouetted on the trail in the moonlight, and it was huge, Durant told the Berkshire Eagle. The Berkshire Eagle a few days later. I don't scare easily, but it scared me. Durant and Parody ran back to their campsite about an hour later. They and their friends packed up and headed out. They climbed into their car, flicked on the headlights, and saw it again. This time, the motor vehicle, they were able to get a better look. It was crouched down in the bushes with dark brown fur and eyes that seemed to glow in the car's light. They estimated it to be between 6 and 7 foot tall. The creature was almost, but not quite, human. 6 years later, another Bigfoot sighting circulated. A man had been hiking a well-traveled trail up the mountain on July evening when he spotted a reddish-brown creature crouched in the brush. As a rather experienced hiker, he was less startled than curious. He pulled out his binoculars just as the creature moved into the clearing. Curiosity quickly became fear. The creature was covered in fur, but wasn't like any animal the man had ever seen. Its face, slightly elongated, with rather pointed features, was less furry than the rest of the startling human-like body. Its arms, just a little too long to be normal, were reaching into the brush to move aside rocks, presumably in the search of bugs. The hiker was fascinated with the creature and the rocks. Each stone it picked up was carefully stacked into a small pile. Makes you wonder about the piles of rock we find, if that's not what they're doing, if they're looking for bugs and stuff and making maybe signs. I'm not sure. Uh, Apparently satisfied with this evening snack, the creature stood up. Its long, furry arms stretched all the way to its knees, and it was tall as if not taller than a human. It turned its head and slowly began to move back toward the woods. The hiker didn't stick around to find out where it was headed. He ran. The first recorded of this Bigfoot sighting was in 1765, when a group of explorers in the Great Barrington area allegedly found the creature sleeping again in 1895. A North Adams newspaper printed a town selectman's account of seeing it. More recently, uh, the creature was spotted lurking in the bushes near a home in Beckett, walking along Route 7 in Williamstown and knocking sticks together at Mount Greylock. Now, on Monday, February 13th, 2023, October Mountain mid 90s, I hunted there a lot. One morning just before sunup, I was walking to my deer stand. The woods suddenly went dead quiet. It was moving very slowly, making very little to no noise. Then I heard a large thump, followed by a whistle or a high pitched whine. I stopped and listened for about 2 minutes. I could hear something circling me about 50 to 75 yards out. That's about the distance I've noticed they stay, too. I continued on to my stand, but now with the pin light, I got to my stand and started up the tree. The next thing I knew, small rocks and sticks were being thrown towards me. I packed up and left. I went back a few weeks later, midday, and took my stand down. I have not been back to that location since. You know, I really like how they talked about the rocks being stacked, and it was looking for bugs and grubs and stuff while it was doing it, maybe. Or it was just out making, signs or whatever they do by stacking the rocks. I thought that was really important. Thought it was an interesting story. Pretty recent story, Monday, February 13th, 2023. So Massachusetts is one we haven't covered a lot, and I wanted to see what was going on there, and they did. They have a lot of encounters up in Massachusetts, so I thought it was pretty interesting. I appreciate y'all watching. Plan on doing a boots on the ground here pretty soon, so it won't be long. You'll get an investigation on the ground. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you watching, and until next time, guys, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner.